This is Lansdowne Road, the voice of the fans, and this is the League of Ireland Matchday 22 review. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAvoy, and of course, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. And if you want opinion, head over to lansdowneroad.ie. That is lansdowneroad.ie. And if you're listening to an audio version of this, well done you. Just please make sure you give us a 5-star review, because it really does help. It really does help us out, and we are trying to grow the channel. So anyway, thank you for that. Conor, how are you doing? Another weekend of League of Ireland action that we're going to bring the good El Roar faithful. How are you keeping?
I'm flying. Good to be back with the League of Ireland. As always, another very entertaining week of League of Ireland football, especially with Europe kicking in next weekend. It'll be a very hectic time for League of Ireland fans. So yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, so good. Boiling here in London. Yeah. really, really bad here. It's we're in a heat wave. That's when the weather's above double digits, Conor. Nothing that you'd know about up in Monaghan. But there you go. Let's have a look at the results. We're going to do the usual thing: show you the results, have a little chat about the games, and we'll take it from there. So here we go. Bohemians 1-1 draw with Sligo Rovers. A last-minute equaliser actually for the home side. Cork City 0-all draw with St. Pat's at home. Derry City 3-0 winners over Drogheda United. Galway United 1-all draw at home to Shelbourne, and Shamrock Rovers 1-0 winners over Waterford. Just going to have a look at the Bohemians game there. Owen Elding, of course, giving the what?
No, it's just funny his goal. I just think of Owen Elding. I just think Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. I was like, have I mispronounced this? Have I got that name wrong? Screamer, absolute screamer in the 28th minute, and then of course James Clark on the 95th, getting that last stoppage time equaliser. Owen Elding, he just keeps producing the goods, doesn't he?
He's different class, isn't he? He's just the type of player that makes you love football. Just a goal like that is just out of this world. He just keeps doing it, dude. Like sometimes I see someone commenting saying, "Oh, he just hit the ball as hard as he could." Any professional footballer could do that, and it's like he's producing that. He's done that on multiple occasions now. It gets to a stage where it's not just hitting hope. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think something the keeper should have saved it. The keeper, I was like, no keeper saving that. The swerve, the way he hit it, it was kind of like a knuckleball type shot. The way it was absolutely outrageous. He's an exceptional talent. He's most definitely been the young player of the season so far, Dave. I don't think that's any question at all. The goals he's scoring, his ability just to pick up the ball, whether it's on the halfway line or out on the wing, and make things happen for Sligo is outrageous. He's basically single-handedly at this stage almost keeping Sligo off the foot of the table. Without his goals, where would they be? He is definitely worth 7 figures, in my opinion, at this stage. Still has 2 years left in his deal, which is shows the Sligo are in a really, really good position in terms of his contract. So I'll just hopefully he continues to impress and score goals and stay at the top of the charts when it comes to the goals. And then come end this season, Sligo can make huge money on him, because I know there's very, very big clubs watching him. So hopefully he continue to shine.
Yeah, that's 8 goals now for Owen Elding. He's joint second top goal scorer in the League of Ireland. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out.
He's technically, you'd probably say he's probably top at this stage now, Dave, because Moses Dyer's top, isn't he? And he's gone. So
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so I know if the season ended now, Moses Dyer would finish as top goal scorer, but that'll change like next few weeks.
Yeah, Moses Dyer has left for pastures new. We'll talk about that in a second. Next up, 0-0
Oh,
draw.
just on Bows today, Douglas James Taylor announces their new signing, new star striker, which is a massive, massive move for them. Obviously, very difficult for Drogheda to lose him, but huge signing for Bows and excellent striker. I'd say if they're going to be in a title race, he'll play a massive part in it. And then James Clark seems to be on his way to Grimsby. As many are saying, it's a grim move for the lad, because who wants to live in Grimsby? But I guess everyone's dream is to go play in England. He's a short career. He's probably getting on a better deal. He's out of contract at the end of the season. Bows are probably thinking if he's going to leave, he might as well get a bit of cash, even though I'd say it's very small.
Yeah.
But yeah, best of luck to him. Hopefully he does well in England, because he's a very talented player.
Yep, we're going to be getting tons. I'm going to be getting text messages over that from a certain Bows fan. You know who you are. Next up, Cork City 0, Pats nil. More disappointment again for Stephen Kenny. They are, wow, I don't even know when the last time they've won a game. Lost 3 in a row. Last 5, they drawn 1, lost 3. And of course, they've drawn the last one. Cork City still at the bottom of the table. They haven't won a game in God knows when either. It's really been a poor season, hasn't it, for Pats? And I mean, Europe coming around the corner, it's kind of difficult, really, to see where do you go from here, to be honest. Of course, the Elding knives are coming back out for Kenny from the usual suspects. David McGuinness. Yeah, just really, really bad for Pats. Like, I mean, Jesus, everyone thought they were going to run away with the league, and they are literally mid-table.
They are crap. Simple as they are crap. The game on Friday night, it was a bit of a strange one because it was an entertaining game. Both teams actually played all right, but you could just see the lack of confidence on both sides to maybe take that bit of risk that either team needed to take to get that winning goal, because neither team has been winning games as of late or doing it, and that would boost players' confidence. So we've seen players were kind of playing with that bit of a break on and didn't really want to take any risks and get go and try and push for that sort of winning goal in the end, and both were kind of happy with the point. But yeah, Pats are really, really poor. With Europe coming up, they're going to have Europe change their season around last year. Cannot do it again this year, but you can't just rely on Europe to change your season, because if you're just relying on Europe, I don't know what way your long term future is. Like, they need a couple of signs in the door now as soon as possible. Hopefully, you'd imagine they'll get maybe one in before the start of Europe. And the reality is, at this stage of the question is, if it wasn't Stephen Kenny in charge of St. Pat's, would there be a lot more people calling for his head to go as St. Pat's manager? Because I wouldn't say sack him, but I just think it's been such an underwhelming season, where their expectations would have been at the start of the season, that I'm sure there's been a few questions by some Pats fans who aren't really that loyal to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big money signing. He's probably the biggest money signing that they have coming in. You know, for the League of Ireland, he's probably, manager wise, you know, he's probably one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name coming into the league, with all respect to Duff and Bradley. And yeah, he just hasn't delivered. He delivered, I suppose he gave you a glimmer of hope last season. It took a little while for it to come together for him last season, and then when it did, it did. And then we all expected him to boss the league this season, because, you know, he's got pedigree in the league. You know, I know his time at Ireland was absolutely poor, but in the end, I knew it was really, really bad. But he has a great pedigree in the League of Ireland. And now it always amazes me with the critics. By the way, he deserves his critics, right? Because, look, if it goes well, yay, manager, he's brilliant. If it goes bad, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. But it's amazing how people now just completely disregard his past, you know, with his achievements there in the League of Ireland with Dundalk, and, you know, what he achieves with that team in Europe as well. And people just forget about that, you know. No. You know, that doesn't exist. We're only going to concentrate on his Ireland career. You know, he didn't have a career before Ireland. But it has been poor from him. It has been poor from the team. And yeah, if he probably wasn't for the fact that he's a big name in the League of Ireland, and I'm sure he's on good money, yeah, they probably would have got rid of him. And I'm sure, you know, I'd imagine he is on very good money. And I'm sure if he wasn't such, I'd imagine there's a clause there as well where if they do sack him, they had to pay up his contract. So they're probably thinking, well,
and Cork not looking good. They're obviously they have a few lads that Rory Feely, Faker Kelleher will all be able to play from today, actually, on the 1st of July. But they've lost trust. The goalkeeper, they paid his release clause, but he doesn't want to stay. He's going back to, I think, the Netherlands, where he's from. And TJ Daniels looks like he's going to Kilmarnock, I believe it is. And Carl O'Sullivan, though, one positive, probably he's staying to the end of the season by the looks of it. Ian Fitzmaurice reported yesterday that Brentford and Preston have entered the race. It looked like it was nailed on for him to go to Crystal Palace. He went and visited Selhurst Park, went to an under-21 game in May. We all thought this summer they would have agreed the fee and he would have gone now instead of the end of the season. But it looks like there's nothing been agreed, nothing's going to happen before the end of the season, and he'll leave on a free transfer at the end of the year. Obviously, they'll still get some compensation because of training fees and stuff like that. But yeah, it looks like he's going to stay at the end of the season, which could be a positive for Cork if they can stay up and he plays a massive part. It's probably worth any money than they were going to get off any of these clubs. But it's interesting to see, could he join Keith Andrews at Brentford? Keith Andrews convinced Sam Curtis to go to Sheffield United a couple of years ago. Can he be the man to convince Carl O'Sullivan to go to Brentford?
Yeah. Let's see what happens. Next up, Derry City battering Drogheda 3-0 at the Brandywell. Sam Todd, Ronan Boyce, and Danny Mullen, no relation to Larry, with a 95th. Well, I was going to say winner. I mean, it was probably the worst goal you'll ever see. Tap over the line. Actually thought it was disallowed. 20 shots, 7 on target, 73% possession, annihilation. And you know what? Lovely to see Drogheda. I have a soft spot for Derry because I do think they're actually a good side and they've been very lucky. And yeah, Drogheda just basically their style finally showing itself as the bankrupt philosophy that it is. And you never know. Just looking at the table here, they're sliding down that table. There's a fair bit to go before relegation, but you never know. I mean, they're not in Europe, so.
As that famous meme says by me, get him off social media, get him off social media.
That's rich coming from you when Martin O'Neill sees what you and Martin and the other Martin said about him when you get torn apart.
No, but yeah, I think Derry are the team that's going under the radar really this season. They're slowly going out of business. Obviously, they've had patchy stuff and not done well at times, but I think they've been somewhat consistent compared to other teams in the league, which is probably expected where they're at this stage because they have so much talent in their squad. They've invested huge money. They're going to continue to invest huge money this summer. They tried to get Moses Dyer before he went back to Oceania. But yeah, it's a big win for them. Get mad, isn't it? Yeah, but I do think Derry are going to be the team, and when it comes to the end of the season, will finish second. I think Derry will get second just with the quality they have, and they'll invest more money. And I've seen this is the last year they're having on the Astro, which is a huge positive. But when you play a team like Drogheda, they probably use the Astro to their advantage. It's probably a lot easier to play a team like Drogheda off the park compared to a grass pitch. But yeah, Drogheda, it's not too surprising. They lost 3-0 the other day. I'm not shocked. They were going to eventually start losing games. This is probably the start of it, really. And especially with Europe being kicked out of Europe, that does not help at all with any of that. Situation with players and management with keeping the head right. So I think Drogheda, it's not like Drogheda going to slide down too far, but I just think they'll eventually slide out of the top 4. But I hope they don't for the sake of their future and getting into Europe after what happened this past season. I'd love to see them finish top 4. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, massive. You'd imagine that the air is taken out of that club. That's probably keeping them going, really. Like, lads, we're playing in Europe. We're going to be playing in Europe. And then all of a sudden, we're not playing in Europe. Oh. And you just
at least the ownership group have paid the 525k they would have made from Europe to the club. They've given the club the money, but it's still not the same. The fans are never getting the memories of going or getting a European trip away. But maybe they might win the cup again this year, and then that the other team doesn't qualify.
Yeah, so you don't qualify. Yeah. No, I mean, fair enough. Like financially, yeah, grand. But that, like, look, these lads are playing at this level. With all due respect, it's higher than any level I ever played at. But, this is a big thing for them. And rightfully so. This is what, not everyone makes this professional football. Not everyone gets to play in Europe and go abroad. It's just, it's that big time feel about it. And they got it from winning the cup. It's not like a league position or whatever. They got it from winning the cup, from winning something. Similar situation to what Crystal Palace are potentially facing as well with their owners and Leon and all that. So no, my heart does go out to them, but yeah, it'd be very, very difficult now. That's for the manager as well. Like, who motivates the motivators? Not at all hinting at any lack of professionalism or whatever, but these are human beings at the end of the day. So I totally, my heart does go out to them still over that. Next one we're going to talk about is, and the last one actually, Shamrock Rovers 1-0 winners over Waterford. Let me get my own sheet up here. Hold on. Where are we? Sorry. Cut out. Rory Gaffney on the 74th minute, giving all 3 points to the, well, I wouldn't say champions elect, but it's starting to look that way at the top. Shamrock Rovers just revving on at the moment, Conor. Doesn't look like anyone's going to stop them, does it?
No, the league's done. Simple as the league's done.
It's done.
Have it wrapped up. It's gone. I know it technically points wise you're not that far ahead, but in all reality, they've the league won. I don't like saying it. I don't want to be. It's a bit like when I say people think.
You just said it.
Yeah, but they just haven't done this. It's done. Things are done. The squad they have is too good. There's so much depth. I can't believe I questioned them at the start of the season, but I guess that's the beauty of how good of a manager Stephen Bradley is. And the big thing that's happened this year, Dave, with Shamrock Rovers, they've had very few injuries, which they've always struggled over the last few years. Even when they were winning titles, they always had a lot of lads that were missing a lot of time through injury, particularly when it came to European games. I know obviously how many European games has Jack Byrne missed or has he played through injury? And someone like that has stayed fit all season. Matt Healy's made a huge difference. I think no one expected Michael Noonan to kick on this well in Shamrock Rovers. And if some Max Kulisevskis has been brilliant off the bench for them over recent weeks. Good to see him back after doing his ACL, and he's another top talent. They just have so much talent, whether it's young lads, whether it's experienced lads, whether it's just lads in the peak of their powers. So they are an excellent side. And Waterford, I don't think Waterford be too worried. I think the only negative for Waterford is because they've done well and actually played well in Tala the other day, but the goal was a goalkeeping mistake from McMullen. And it's the sort of thing the defenders will be so frustrated, and probably Coleman will be as well, that they've done everything right, really, to go in there, keep a clean sheet and get an unbelievable point for them. But then a goalkeeping error costs them, which is always can be the worst psychological thing ever for players.
Yeah, I mean, Rory Gaffney's not going to get
it. And you're forgetting a game. Just because Duff pulled out of the league doesn't mean Shelburne have as well. Yeah, Duff hasn't pulled the squad out of the league.
Oh, sorry, yeah. That was the next one. Sorry, guys. I do apologize. This heat here in London is. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so I do apologize. Yes, you're right, Conor. We are forgetting. See, that's the Damien Duff effect. Bit like a butterfly effect. Yeah, sorry. I bet you Martin now, if he's listening, he's going to be laughing his arse off. Bastards. Yes. And of course, Shelburne 1-1 draw away from home. Hold on, let me get my list up. See, I'm caught out now a little bit because I wasn't expecting this. 1-1 draw at Galway United. Mipo Adeko getting his 5th goal of the season. And then Bobby Burns. Mipo Adeko.
You said
no.
Adeko.
No, I didn't. It's your crap Wi-Fi. It's your crap Wi-Fi up there. It's probably flickering in and out of BT. Bobby Burns with a late equaliser for Galway United. Shelburne, just pure muck this season, has to be said. Not as bad as Pats, though. Only 1 win in the last 5. And the post-Duffy era, the post-Duff era just continues to sort of roll on as it was during the current Duff era as well. You're just really bad from Shelburne, isn't it? It's a terrible title offence.
Oh, it's been a shocking title offence. Nightmare for them. In fairness, they haven't actually been playing that bad the last 2 games with Joey O'Brien in charge. Like Mipo's header was a lovely header, but he probably should have scored a couple more. He actually had a good game at the weekend. He's just so unbelievably dangerous with his movement and how he just looks like a complete striker 95% of the time, and then he'll miss a couple of chances and then his head starts to go a bit. But yeah, it's probably a very disappointing one for Shells. They should have won that game again, creating a lot of chances. But then, as Joey Bryan said, it's been the story of their season, making mistakes in both boxes, which is costing them. Galway will probably be happy with the point in the end, because I know Moses Dyer is away to Cambodia probably today. I'd imagine is when he can leave. But he was suspended anyway, so they were going to be missing him anyway. But Galway would probably need to improve now, big time, if they're going to get into European place. Both sides do, in fairness. Both sides, if they want to get top four, there's a massive race for the top four of the season, but both sides are, they're right there. At least the thing that both sides can say, they're both not playing well at the moment. They're not in great form, but they're literally right there for European places. So they know if they can turn it around, they would be right there in the mix of things. But yeah, it was probably a disappointing one for both sides.
Yeah, no, really bad there. Right, let's have a look at the league table. This is going to wind a few people up. There he is there, Stephen Bradley. A wink and a thumbs up and a big toothy grin. Shamrock Rovers sitting comfortably on top. Obviously, they've played 2 games more than most with 48 points. Derry City behind them, 2 games less. They're on 37 points. And, of course, they're winning games in hand. They could be on 43. Bohemians third, also played 2 less than Shamrock Rovers on 37. Drogheda United with 24 games played. They're on 35 and going all the way down. Maybe not to relegation. Shelbourne in 5th, the champions, 24 games. With 32 points, just kind of spluttering along. Pats behind them, even worse. 24 games on 31 points. In 7th, Galway United, 22 games on 29 points. Of course, they can make up a bit of ground on those above. Waterford, 22 games, 27 points there in 8th. And Sligo Rovers in 9th, 22 games and 19 points. Probably unlucky not to get all 3 actually at Dalymount, to be fair. And then Cork City probably on the table, 4 points adrift from Sligo on 15 points having played also 22 games. Let's have a look at the fixtures this weekend. Derry City at home to Waterford. Drogheda United at home to Galway United. Shelbourne host Cork City. St. Pat's, the big game on Virgin Media 2, will host both. That is a huge Dublin derby. And then on Saturday, we have Sligo Rovers hosting champions-elect Shamrock Rovers.
Just one thing worth noting, actually, for your statistical stuff, I don't know if you noticed, Dave, Cork City finally got their first clean sheet on Friday night, and Bows got their first draw of the season, which we haven't seen before. Also, something that has been doing the rounds is Owen Elding's international future, Dave. I'm sure you've seen it on your social media. The fact that he was born in England but moved as a young lad to Ireland when his dad signed in the League of Ireland. I've seen stuff from John Russell saying that he believes it is close, paperwork's close. I've heard it's not as close as what he's making out. FIFA have been very, very difficult with the FAI in this case, as they say, because he's moved to Ireland for footballing reasons, his father, that he cannot get citizenship. Well, he can get citizenship, but he can't play for Ireland, which is a bit crazy when you think of it, to be honest. Because what's the difference in him moving to Ireland to play football and moving to Ireland if he was working for Apple or working for Google? I don't see the difference. But the FAI are still very confident on it. It will be one. It will eventually get accepted by FIFA. There's been cases of players in the past with other countries who've been in the same situation. That if Aymeric Laporte, if you remember, from Man City, he's from France, lived his whole basically life in France, and then moved in his early teens to Spain to play for Bilbao, and he got a Spanish citizenship and ended up playing for Spain after that. So it's one thing. Elding will eventually get his thing, but it's just a bit of a nuisance that it's taking this bit of time, because the reality is he should have been in the June squad for the 21s. There's not much the FAI can keep doing, but just eventually just knocking down the door of FIFA, and FIFA will eventually probably cop on. I think, yeah. But it's just a bit of a nuisance. Yeah, they will.
That'll cave in. Anyway, thank you for that, Conor. Thank you very much for watching at home. Don't forget, you can check out, all the stuff in the archives. The latest live episode is in the history books. It is also on the YouTube archives. You can head over. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. But they're the 2 lads had 2,500 people watching you live last night, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. First live in a while, probably I think since we got back from the international window. Of course, we will have a new season coming up soon. We're gonna relaunch, and we're gonna have all that coming up over the next couple of weeks, I suppose. Really, we will be back a regular weekly live to hear from you lovely Raw faithful. But you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really does help. And please like this video. Head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account, and head over to lansdowneroad.ie. That is lansdowneroad.ie if you want to get an opinion. If you listen to a audio version of this, which of course you can get Spotify, you can get Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from, please do give us a 5-star review. Right, that's all we have time for on this episode of Lambs and Roar. See you in the next one.